been. So what are your thoughts on, we've talked about early childhood and, teenage years and early adult years and, kind of how love evolves over time to the point of needing to release, that person that you love so much. How would you talk about like the coming back together, right? The maintenance of and creation of a future that you desire.
Right. So after that release, the coming back together does involve intentionality, being intentional, because now you're speaking of a group of individuals or two individuals at the very least, who are adults, both of them. They're adults. And so there is opportunity there to create new norms, or like new norms that may evolve even more as time goes forward. So for moms, and speaking of and keeping in mind, beyond the bouquets, um, I would say that coming back together has to be intentional. The word that comes to me is honoring, and that just goes back to just what ought to be desired to be at the core of a parent-child relationship, a mother-child relationship. I believe that moms want to feel a sense of being honored. I know for me, I know and recognize, and am in the process of embracing. I don't know if that process will ever end. I just have to be completely transparent, but definitely knowing that the dynamics are different and they are forever changed. Uh, and with that being said, there being ways to cause there to be like authentic, genuine honor expressed. And for the conversation that we're having today and what we're doing for this particular Mother's Day, that does go beyond the bouquet, because sometimes those superficial demonstrations are just that, they're very hollow. They can be very hollow. Not that the bouquet, the flower, the box of candy or whatever isn't appreciated. However, I believe that those superficial demonstrations just pale in comparison to a fuller intentional, something that reflects the intentionality and something that reflects the honor. So how does that look when you have, like you mentioned, a mom that you're married to, the mom of your children, and you're teaching your children how to honor their mom on Mother's Day, but then you have like your own whole mom somewhere else, and it not come off or feel to your mom as though it's an afterthought, or this is what I had left over, or this is what I'm doing real quick for you because we're um doing whatever, in our household for my wife or what have you. And I just lost my thought, but my what I feel about that is that, again, that intentionality to carving out that time is enhanced when it's not just one day a year. If that relationship, it ought not to be just that one day a year. So that would be one thing that I would say. For families where the relationship isn't there as much, or the opportunity isn't there as much for it to be more than that one day, I would say that moms pay attention to that day. Like, well, I know the rest of the year, these adult children are lifing. They're in school, they're married, they have families, they have businesses, they have careers, they're doing. So it's like at the very least, on Mother's Day, um, there's a looking forward to something that is tailored just for mom, that is that's reflective of all of that love and appreciation and honor, even if the relationship is strained. And this may be a stretch for adult children who may be listening to this. They may be parents themselves, and they may also be thinking about their own parents and going, well, but my mom wasn't there for me, or my mom just any one of us, if we just do what's right and what's honorable, those dynamics may shift. I mean, that's not a guarantee that they will get better, but it just gives you, the individual, a sense of, I did what was right, what was good, what was honorable. So, um, having these types of conversations with mom, I know something that you said a few years ago that we're still working on as a family. You're like, I really don't know a lot about you. So there's a lot that you do know, but then there's so much that you don't, because I was parenting. I wasn't like, even though I said that we were like friends in terms of the types of conversations we would have, but you weren't my friend. I wasn't like bearing my soul to you, and also there was just so much that you just don't know, that you don't know. So finding those opportunities throughout the years just to build the relationship, and then on Mother's Day, make it as special as possible. And being in, because that's what comes across, the intentionality,
Yeah.
right? That's what comes across, however that looks, and however adult children determine to do that. I talk to parents from my generation and older all the time. And that's something that comes up. It comes up because we do miss that closeness with our children. And yeah, we do know that we live in a new reality because they're grown and they're gone. But when that reconnection happens and that child just really, I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and she and her son had basically been estranged for a number of years. And she said he called as though nothing happened. Just, he was just talking, and she was holding the phone like she couldn't even get him to answer her call for like years. And his wife is expecting another little one, and he's just talking and engaged, and she's talking to me, and she was so happy, just so happy. So
That's a very interesting story. I mean, there's so much pressure on, I can speak for myself, but I think also just in just culturally, uh,
yeah,
especially when you think about the shared stories of single parenthood in the
yes,
Black community, and especially sons who just want so much to honor their mother. Right, you hear it in the acceptance speeches of athletes and awards that they're winning and talking about, or even just hearing about what you spend your money on when you got that car. Oh, I bought my mom a house. I bought my mom a car.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I think this is just evidence of what's going on internally with them, and now they're able to express it. They're able to show that. And to that point, a house and a car is nice, and every mother would appreciate that. But the intangibles of spending time with you and caring about you and all that is probably more important.
Right.
And that's what I appreciate so much about you in this journey of, it can get messy in the midst of change, because nobody knows. There's no blueprint. There's no blueprint for, well, what do you do when you have a wife and a mom and his mother? Hey, what do you, I don't, did somebody sit me down and say, well, this is how you do it? I don't know what to do. Right. So yeah, there's going to be mistakes that are made and people's feelings who are hurt, and on both sides, right? And not understanding, well, what's the right way and what's the right balance to strike. And hopefully over time, again, because the desire is there, you'll find that balance. But what I appreciate about you over the last couple of years is that you've advocated for yourself. Right. So I think that that's it can be hard to do, I'd imagine, but it's because we all want to assume, well, the other person should just come up with it on their own. They should just they should figure it out, and that's how they show me that they love me. I shouldn't have to remind them or tell them what I want. They should just know what I want, right? And
Right.
as an adult, and really this goes beyond even mother-son relationships. Like I've been married for almost 15 years. I think any long-term relationship, you get to a stage where intentionality is the thing, right? You've gone beyond the spontaneity of just I hope this works for you and I hope this makes you happy and I hope it really is. Well, I need to, if you want, just tell me what you want, right? Be clear and articulate what it is that I can do. Because if you tell me, I want to do it. I want you to be happy. I want you to enjoy your life. I want to provide experience and opportunity for joy to be in your life. But if I don't know, then I'm left to my assumptions of how to do that. So I've appreciated you sharing with us at times. Well, I would love to do this, or last year we didn't do anything for Mother's Day. I just got a text message and that hurt my feelings, and I rather like this sharing that is very valuable. So of course, also to mothers who are listening to this conversation, don't be afraid to share with your children exactly what you want. Doesn't mean that they're going to do exactly what it is. So you have to be prepared for that. But I think it does at least provide an opportunity for someone to step up to the plate and say, okay, mom asked for this, and I want to be able to do that for her. I want to make sure that I can do that for her this year. So I've appreciated this conversation. I think we've both learned a little bit more about each other. We may need to do this again, and maybe tackle some other topics potentially if you're down for that. And I think that's it. I think again, and I know it's not Mother's Day quite yet, but happy early Mother's Day to you. And of course, after having this conversation, now I have to do something really big, really big for you before you tell all your friends I didn't do anything for you. After even after we talked about it for 2 hours. So, I love you, Mom. I really appreciate you. I think that, again, I know that you know it, but I need to do a better job of saying it and showing it. So that's my journey of growth and development generally. So that's, something that I'm working on, and I hope to rise to the occasion. I hope
Thank
to
you
rise
so
to the
much. This has been just a sheer joy. And yes, I'm available for us to chop it up regarding this topic or others. I've enjoyed it, and I love you too, son. And well, I know you love me, and I also appreciate you saying that you're gonna do better. Oh, and prayerfully, there are other adult children and moms, and maybe even dads who have gleaned something powerful and impactful from our conversation today.
That's the hope, to be of service.
All righty.
I will talk to you soon.
Okay.
All right, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.